Yeah, not really playing his percentages at the moment is Aaron Monk, but he's level at 1 apiece, and he's sort of made amends there with that one, but Joe Cullen with a chance at 140. The chance is extinguished. Joe Cullen dancing all over the hockey here.
60.
Just the 60 score.
Requires 66.
That leaves tops.
46.
Aaron Monk just a little short of double top.
80. Game shown, the third leg.
Very smooth from Joe Cullen.
Full-flag Joe to throw first.
With the breaker throw.
So that is another carrot at the end of this weekend's event. And we know Joe Cullen's quite capable of winning it because he's won 3 of these European tours in the past.
140.
Yeah.
Joe require 121.
Well, he had immense success last year as well. Won the Masters.
93.
A couple of Players' Championship events last year. Won in Hungary as well on the European Tour. 11 senior PDC titles. Monk looking at 161. Now then, Aaron, bullseye. Oh, showstopper from Aaron Monk, who all of a sudden means business and looks the business as well. And a nice acknowledgement there from Joe Cullen. A shake of the hand.
Where if you offered him at the start, he'd say, well, I'm vulnerable to losing the game. But a 95 average, 40% on doubles, taking out a few of these mid-range. There's nothing special. There's nothing flashy. He's not doing anything brilliantly, but he's doing everything pretty well.
39.
Joe, from what I've spoken to Joe before, he's never really been one to attach a great deal of significance to averages anyway.
No.
Joe, you require 170.
So he'll take this with a pinch of salt, I think. 170 he wouldn't take with a pinch of salt. He would be very grateful for indeed.
99.
Probably got to fill it up, really. Might just do that.
135.
Well, he is down
Joe,
to a
you
finish,
require
but it's not
71.
a small enough one to worry Joe Cullen right now, particularly after that dart. It is another mid-range finish for Joe Cullen. He continues to do the straightforward stuff very efficiently. And you can make a very strong case that he was as good a player as Joe Cullen in that game. He had a higher average, he had opportunities, he could not take them. Here, Cullen has been far more reliable over the course of the game. And he's going to put himself in a position where he can win it in this leg.
64.
He's going to have to take that chance, but he has left himself in that sort of range of finishing where he's been so efficient all the way through the contest.
97. Joe, you require 84.
So 84 plays a ton. Cullen to strike first. Any slip up though, Monk has to make his move. 64 away. That leaves the bullseye, and that is game, set and match for Joe Cullen, who once again on the Euro Tour this year comes through at the expense of Aaron Monk by 6 legs to 4.
Well, possibly. Clemens, I thought, he laboured at times against Danny Jansen, but it was a decent performance last night. But he's going to have to be at his best, because Dave Chisnell has made this European Tour stage his own this year. Like you said, the 3 wins. And generally, if you want to beat Dave, you've got to play well. He lost in the first round of the World Grand Prix last week, but he played well. His opponent played better. Chizzy rarely lets himself down now, and like I said, comes into this as the #1 player on the European Tour of Merit, and will look for aiming to win his 4th one, but finish as #1 seed. He'll feel like he deserves that position going into the finals in Dortmund in a fortnight's time.
Dave, you require 140.
Chizzy down to a finish, 140. Clemens waiting and lurking on 164. This would be a showstopper to start things off. Double 10. Oh, what about that? Dave Chisnell meaning business.
What a statement start from Dave Chisnell. 12 dart leg, a 140 to finish.
Yeah, and that sort of dusting himself down, I think that's something that he's done in Europe as well. I mean, I mentioned his 13 finals. At one stage, he'd appeared in 6 and he'd only won 1 of them. So he's won 5 of his last 7 European Tour finals. So he's discovered that winning habit once he gets into the final itself.
100.
I suppose in many ways that shows a degree of maturity from Dave Chisnall. 43 years old, by the way, Chizzy now, just realised.
He's got a brilliant darting CV. And if there's any sentiment in sport, you'd say he deserves a major title, but he's got to go and earn it. And Gabriel Clemens has earned his chance to maybe break the throw of Dave Chisnall.
And he does. 76 checkout, lovely two-dart combination from Clemens and the German #1 at the first attempt. That's 2 or 3 times now that he's just lost his way with his grip and his release. Recovered well with the treble 19, but maybe the damage has been done.
55.
It was a good last start from Dave, though. Just steadied himself, refocused, and it's given him an opportunity. A couple of treble 19s is normally the way. Can't find the first one. Clemens still got a bit to do here.
64. Gabriel, you require 85.
Well, the break of throw is only really worth anything if you can back it up with a holder throw. And Clemens duly obliges once again. Gets the check out of 85 on the double 14. 60 at least would be enough to leave a finish.
Still offers a little bit of encouragement to Dave here. Yeah, and he'd expect one, if not the lot now. Yeah, you just knew it, didn't you, after the first start. Plenty to bed to aim for. Chisnall ain't going quietly.
Well, there was the big fish in the crowd. Will we see one on the stage? No, we won't. And Shizzy looking to break back with a 58. I suspect the crowd will play their part once again with this visit, Mark.
Yeah, they will. Dave, though, missed 2 darts at tops in the previous leg. 2 more here, but a clear open bed. Double 10 to keep him in the tournament. And the #1 seed, winner 3 times on the European Tour this year, could be falling at the first hurdle.
Dave Chisnall, 3 times a winner on the European Tour stage this year, but there will not be a 4th title for him.
Nathan, one of the wins that stands out for me, when he returned to the European Tour at the beginning of last year in Riesa, Nathan Aspinall, literally to see how the arm went. He was turning up to get his prize money, maybe win a game, he said. He ended up getting to the semi-finals. He beat James Wade en route and eventually succumbed in that semi-final. But from there on,
44.
He kind of believed that he could deal with the injury, and the rest tells itself, doesn't it? A major champion again, been to a couple of major finals, a Premier League campaign. The likelihood he's being next year.
137.
Ticking along nicely for Nathan.
Yeah, well, it's 4 major finals in just over 12 months, isn't it? With the World Series finals and the Grand Prix from last year as well. So it's been an incredible year for the Asp.
And it all stemmed from the beginning of last year when he was withdrawing from a major event because of injury, and you're kind of fearing for the career, but
Games on the first leg.
he's answered those critics, but James Wade will be looking to do the same.
But it's still a large number of seeded players to have fallen already.
100.
Aspinall with a second max.
Didn't do him any good in the previous leg, but it's given him a decent cushion here. Winner of this faces Luke Humphries or Boris Krichmar. That's the penultimate match of the evening.
Yeah, Luke Humphries now knows, with Dave Chisnall going out, if he wins the title this weekend, he will be the #1 seed for the European Championship. And Nathan Aspinall, 3 180s in a couple of legs.
Second year as well.
Yes.
Humphries.
96.
Extraordinary consistency and cool hand Luke.
Half the deficit. Over to double 10 for Nathan. He just paused. You just got to be careful not to go inside here. You don't invite any problems. That's okay. If you miss outside, start messing around with double 5 or splitting. And Wade will be probably forgetting about this leg now, focusing
60
on the next leg. He's got the breaker throw.
20. Games on the third leg.
Yeah, very nicely done by Nathan Aspinall to get on the board in this one.
Nathan, you require 68.
68 to answer back James Wade's opening 2 legs with 2 of his own. Perfect first start. There's that little pause. I see that sometimes from Nathan. And he misses.
64.
And Wade's taken out at 93 already. Maybe just a dart at the bullseye, but he'll fancy this, James.
James, you've acquired 90.
He is an incredible bullseye hitter, but he's also very proficient in that bottom right corner of the board, which he'll need now. And gets it. Another very efficient kill from James Wade. 93 and 90 taken out. Oh, Robin Hood did no damage at all. James Wade again misses the double for a 12-darter on his own throw, but knows he's going to come back with more darts at double, and James Wade doesn't tend to need lots of darts at double.
Aspinall with a wry smile because he feels that's too late, and the likelihood it is. We only hope is that James goes inside. Not many players like that switch to 7-7. And he doesn't. You know, he knows that was a big moment. Wade's one away. 98.5, but so solid on his own throw. And that first leg, the best leg of the match.
140.
For me so far, the decisive one. The only breaker throw. And Wade is 124 points away from the last 16.
Well, the last 3 legs on throw, James Wade has been down to a finish after 3 visits, and he's had a dart at a double in the 2 previous legs. Does he get a chance to win this here? Doesn't need to, so he's just going to set it up. It has been, if round 1 was typical Wade, this has been vintage Wade. It is such a James Wade performance. And that is high praise indeed. Double top.
Seal a convincing victory. That is an excellent performance from James Wade. You feel a little bit of sympathy for Nathan Aspinall, who played really well, average of 102 and a bit, but James Wade set his stall out from the word go. He found that 11th dart breaker throw.
And Petrescu as well won his tour card at the start of 2022, and he's currently, what, 63rd on the order of merit. So that's another issue that he's got to address this weekend as well.
Well, he will be going to the Worlds, of course, and so look, I think he's set.
I think he's all right, yeah, but I think he wants to use this opportunity to give himself a springboard as well.
Yeah, but money, if he made the Grand Prix and the European Championship, that money probably secures him for the next year after that as well. But he is going to be at the Euros, and he started brilliantly here.
Yeah, I think actually that might just have eased the pressure. Okay, you know, Shindy's got objectives as well, but yeah, I think having guaranteed his place at the Euros yesterday, he's now on what? Well, he's on £18,500 on the European Order of Merit. So yeah, I think he can play with a bit more freedom in this one. And he's in good shape here for a 2-0 lead, unless Shindy can find this 119. Well, there's the 19. There's the 60. Can he find the 40? Yes, he can. 119 is the target, and 119 is found. Very similar pattern of flight there. The second dart going over the first. It was a very. If you look at those 2 visits that he's had there, that was very similar grouping from Petrescu.
61. Ricardo,
now
161.
In position once again with Shindy on a bogey number as well. So 6 darts from here for Petrescu for another break and a 4-1 lead. He's not sure where that's gone. And from that angle, yeah, there we go, single 19.
58.
Well, that could have been better for Petrescu.
94.
Shindy gets back on track to some extent.
One treble combo. That's the treble. What double does he fancy?
Well, he took out double 16 in the previous, and he's going that way again. And once more, it's the same outcome. That is very, very impressive indeed from Petrescu. The 36-32 combination. Just about doing enough on throw in this leg as well.
94.
A lot of players would have incorporated the bullseye there. Pietreczko has gambled going for the treble 19, but ultimately it means that he can only get one dart at double in the next visit. That was enough when he took out 103 in the previous leg.
Ricardo, you require
Yeah, I think he's got a lot of faith in his own ability right now, as Pietreczko. Certainly a lot of faith in his shot-making ability. So treble 17. Guess what? Double 16 once again. He really likes this double 16 tonight, and he's found it once again. A 103 checkout and now a 102. 4 perfect darts. Made that 5. Fill it up, Ricardo.
140.
Martin Schindler might need a 9-darter, and he's not going to produce it. Pietreczko knows he's got 2 visits from here to wrap this up in 12 darts and complete a brilliant 6-2 win. The average is going to smash his personal best on the European Tour.
Well, it could be one of the best on the European Tour this year, full stop. Although it might take a little bit of a nosedive with this visit if he's not careful.
100.
Well, 2 masterpieces in the crowd and a masterpiece from Ricardo Pietreczko on the stage as well.
The Mona Lisa, their screams seem to follow you around the room.
140.
Little parting gift of a ton 40 from Shindy.
Ricardo, you acquire 81.
Could be the final darts that he throws this weekend in anger. Pietreczko already squandering 2 match darts at double 15. Looking for more here. 62 points away. Gets the treble 12 for double 13 for a passage into the 3rd round once again. And that is highly impressive from Ricardo Pietreczko.
It's tough to take a positive from allowing your opponent to win a 21-dart leg. You can take a positive from the response, so this is good from Lennon. 140 and a 180.
I think the thing with Van Gerwen as well, he obviously sets himself, I think, these numerical targets here and there. Mention those 36 European Tour titles, which is just a phenomenal number, and I can't see that being surpassed for decades, if you like. But
he'll add to it.
And he'll add to it as well. That's the thing. I mean, he did talk once, not that long ago, about winning 50, but that might take some time. But yeah, just 1 this year, which he's not been limited to for some time. Well, there's a response though from Steve Lennon. Double 6, 1 apiece.
Trying to work his way back in the leg, Lennon, not enough. Michael Van Gerwen doesn't need to go. There he is, that's what he's after. The big fish, the 170, it's not going to go. If he'd have got the first 2 trebles, I'm certain he'd have gone for the bull.
Definitely. Yeah, not so mighty this evening so far, MVG.
140. Michael requires 74.
Or maybe too little too late from Steve Lennon. MVG looking at 74. Double 16. This would settle him down a little bit more, and that's more like it from MVG. A nice 2-dart combination. Nice parry, or nice symmetry about the way he's going about his business, actually. He knows that MVG will more than likely find another gear at least tomorrow.
119. $59. Michael require 100.
He's got time on his side by Michael Van Gerwen. And just being afforded to tee up the 134. And without being at his best, he's taking control of the match, Michael Van Gerwen. And he's 52 points away.
80. Michael require 52.
For 5-3. And it is 5-3. A third 14-darter to go along with 2 21-dart legs, but Michael Van Gerwen on the brink.
95.
When he's on point, he's generally up around the ton mark. So he's missed a big opportunity here, Steve Lennon. He's not done yet, but he's left himself a lot to do.
Yeah, I think what MVG will do at the end of this, if he does, I don't believe for one moment he's one of these that looks at the numbers too much, but I think he'll ignore the 2 21-dart legs. He'll focus on the 14-dart legs and say, hey, that's something to work with moving forward tomorrow. However, Lennon, there's another missed start at double 16, not for the first time this evening, just indicative of where his problems have laid this evening. And Michael Van Gerwen now stepping in at double 8, inside for double 4 for a 6-3 win. And Michael Van Gerwen, yeah, he knows himself that was far from impressive, an average of only 90.3.
And if he does, Chris Dobey would miss out unless he beats Peter Wright here. So it is still in the balance. But I think you're right. I think he will be feeling less pressure today than he was yesterday. He knew yesterday. He was even talking about it beforehand, going, don't put the jinx on me. Because he's been in that position before.
97. Chris, you require 94.
Same equation last year, and he got a favourable draw. He got one of the Gibraltar qualifiers and eliminated Callan Rids.
Yeah, I remember.
This for a really good start. 12 dart. All the throw from Chris Dobey. Do all the media for the Premier League, and he won the first night, and it featured a 170 finish in the final against Michael van Gerwen.
133. Chris, you require 138.
He might need to take it. Could it be the best 138 checkout you've ever seen? No, it isn't.
58. Peter, you require 116.
Had Chris Dobey hit that 138, I'd have challenged him to live off it for the next 40 years. This is for a ton plus finish and a really big shot from Peter Wright to consolidate that breaker throw.
And then just collapsed in the last sort of leg or so, and Michael van Gerwen picked his pocket for it. But
57.
there's a reason Peter Wright is one of the most successful players of all time. It's because he is able, better than most, to shrug off mistakes, poor visits, to have that fortitude to get back to doing what he does well, and he's doing it here. And in a larger scale, he's been doing this over the last few weeks as he tries to play his way back into form after the toughest time that he's suffered over the last 10 years.
Yeah, worth mentioning as well, whoever comes through this match plays Nico Kurz in the last 16 tomorrow. He was impressive against Johnny Clayton. His last leg had to break to knock out the former Premier League champion Johnny Clayton, to the delight of this audience.
He's left the 116 that he took out earlier in the game, and he might have to take it out again because Dobey's hit a second maximum. If he does take it out, it's 5-2.
It's control of the tie if this double 18 goes in. And it does go in, and you felt it was going to go, and this is good signs for Peter Wright and Peter Wright fans. And he'll have a nervous wait, because there's a lot of spoilers still left in this event that could eliminate Dobey from the European Championships, and unless
Peter require 104.
yeah, unless Dobey can turn this around, if he does hang on in there, he's going to get the hardest possible draw as well. He will face the #1 seed, which could still be Luke Humphries. It's currently occupied by Dave Chisnell. A Humphries win sees him leapfrog.
Ooh, to stay alive. Needed the treble 17, and Peter Wright will get match darts. Chris Dobey has done the first job he needed to this weekend, got himself into the provisional spots for the European Championship. But he is not safe, as this double 8 leaves Dobey hovering above the trapdoor. Peter Wright continues his recovery. It's a mid-90s average, but two brilliant ton-plus finishes.
First birthday ran about now, I thought.
Yeah, Rowan. But he said, yeah, of course. He wants to be #1. He doesn't just want to be good. He wants to be #1. He wants to be world #1. And he'll be setting his sights on doing that. To do that, you've probably got to win World Championship.
Yeah, and he's got loads of other objectives. One of the other things that he was keen to grab hold of this year was a World Cup place. Missed out on it at the expense of Rob Cross, but, well, if there was a World Cup next week, he would be one of England's representatives. And this is going very nicely indeed for Luke Humphries so far. The #3 seed this weekend, the winner of this to face James Wade.
Here comes Big Boris.
140.
Yeah, 22 dart hold of throw. That's for Boris Kirchmark. That will be a source of annoyance for Luke Humphries.
100.
But Humphries looks to get himself back on track with a 180 and get himself into position quickly in this fourth leg.
140.
Yeah, had those 3 defeats at the hands of Dave Chisnall in Euro Tour finals this year.
99.
Chizzy also beat Humphries in a recent Pro Tour final as well in Barnsley, 4 days after their meeting in the final in Hungary. So whether it's Barnsley, Budapest or the Baltic Sea, it's always,
41.
well, it tends to be,
Luke
apart from one
82.
other occasion on the Pro Tour this year, that Chizzy has got the better of him. Humphries, 82. Minus the 15, and that leaves double ace, yeah, and back on track, putting that scratchy previous leg well and truly out of his mind and moving onwards and upwards. Rob Cross didn't get much sleep last night, having played in an exhibition in Denmark last night, drove straight here, and it was a quick turnaround for the 2-time European champion. And Humphries with similar levels of maximum so far.
134.
Boris Critchmar's got away with that. If he didn't hit the treble and it was just a single, he leaves a bogey number. May have to take out the 127 though, because look where Humphries is. Double 19 and bull.
Well, that leaves 98.
49. Luke, you require 58.
Tops for Humphries for 4-1, double 10. Won't want to go to double 5 again, and he avoids that potential pitfall.
Luke Humphries.
And Luke Humphries.
Luke Humphries is averaging 105 himself right now. In fact, that nudges it up to closer to 106.
I was going to say I might have to look into this. Maybe somebody could already has started looking around, but in terms of biggest average by a German in a Euro Tour, I think Hopp did a big one day, but I can't think where it was.
It's certainly Ricardo Petresco's height. I think Martin Schindler might have beaten it, but it's right up there. Clemens might have had 107, 108 as well, but it's certainly up in the discussion. Does not matter though, because Luke Humphries, who is averaging close to 108, to wrap it up with an 11 darter, 12 will do. And it does do, and he is done for Boris Critchmar. The World Grand Prix champion is off and running in the German Darts Championship.
If you are one of the lower ranked players, you play one of the higher ranked players. The seedings always add up to 33, don't they, in that particular bracket or in that particular stage of the draw. Anyway, I mean, that will be ironed out. First and foremost, Soutar just needs to take care of business where and when he can. But this is, yeah, a big match as far as his remainder of this year is concerned, and a big match as far as his career right now is concerned.
Yeah,
and the draw was unkind.
Yeah. Well, last week, it's a personal history for Michael Smith as well, for the first time getting past the last 16 of the Grand Prix, making it all the way to the semi-finals before losing to Gedwin Price. He led 2-1 in that match as well. Looking for the bright start here. Yeah, brilliant start from Michael Smith. And when he's pinning those doubles, that's when he becomes hard to beat, because he's a big scorer, we know that from Michael Smith. But he's, even though he's not defending the prize money title, he's still defending the runners-up.
Of course, yeah.
He lost out to Peter Wright a couple of years ago at the World Championships.
Well, with success, that brings the extra pressure of protecting that money, doesn't it? Every 1 year or every 2 years, depending on how it all shapes up.
97.
Yeah, but when you get that success, you've got to capitalise on it. Got to make sure you use that seeding advantage while you've got it.
58.
Because there's so much quality in the sport now. It's hard to defend that prize money. And Michael Smith is making short work of this so far.
120.
Missed dart at the bullseye for a 3-0 lead. He's got the early break. It was a 13-dart breaker throw as well.
100.
Good last one from Soutar, but not enough to get to a finish. And Smith tops for the 3-leg lead. And it is a 3-leg lead with an average of around about 105. Treble 20 will round off nicely.
59.
Still not there in this leg yet.
Well, it was 2 years ago that Soutar made his European Tour debut in Budapest. He actually played here in Hildesheim in his second European Tour appearance. Made the second round. That was last year, lost to Dimitri van den Bergh 6-4.
Michael, you require 80.
Has made the semi-finals on the Pro Tour as well. Michael Smith,
40.
Now then,
Fluffing his lines once again.
Alan, you require 100.
we never saw this come in when it was 4-0 Michael Smith and throwing for 5-0. Could be 4-3. There's one. And there's two, and Alan Soutar is back and in the match now. Michael Smith tried the top stops earlier, marginally missed out. Soutar was on the money. We're back on throw.
He's stolen the darts already in this leg off Michael Smith, and he can really build on it. Sun 40 here. Well, what about that?
140.
Down to 81. And another 2-dart combination potentially incoming. And the way he's finishing all of a sudden, you'd fancy him to take it.
100. Alan, you require 81.
Well, we've seen upsets aplenty today, but this would be something else. 62 away, looking at the treble 10 for double 16. So, yeah, he's got a little bit, again, room for manoeuvre.
45.
Yeah, Michael Smith not even in a position where forcing Alan Soutar to go for a bull shot. 5 consecutive legs possibly incoming for Soutar on a double he's very comfortable with.
Alan, you require
This
36.
his favourite double on the board, double 18 for 5-4 and one away, new throw for the match. He's got to capitalise, and he does capitalise. He'd have kicked himself had he not taken that opportunity. He now leads 5-4, having trailed 4-0. Drama in our final match on day 2 of the Euro Tour here in Hildesheim. And Michael Smith, when he needed him most, he found a couple of maximums in a leg he had to win to keep his hopes going here in the German Darts Championship. And Soutar, you can see, frustrated, but he couldn't have done much more. He hasn't done in this leg yet.
135.
That keeps him interested.
51.
Well, I think at 4-0 down, if you'd offered him 5-5, he'd have taken it. Michael Smith, double 16 to take us into a decider, and he's not yet there either. And Soutar, with his approach players, put himself in position. He's kept himself plugging away, and he's left himself 73 to finish off, for many, one of the most astonishing fight backs in the history of the European Tour. Oh my goodness me.
What has he done?
Well, he's got the bullseye. 50 remaining. Well, I'm not sure why. I mean, he needed 54. I'm just wondering why he didn't go for 14 for tops.
Well, 18 for the double. He likes double 18, but heartbreak for Alan Soutar.
Michael Smith.
And yeah, a smile. He didn't really think about the shot.
Yeah, he didn't really. And now Michael Smith can step into effect.
140.
Still, though, Soutar's got to be thinking, set this up. 139's a big ask. It's an awkward finish. That's an error. It's a better finish than 139, but from 166, you'd have expected to leave it better.
Well, he might be looking at tops in a minute, Mark, if he can find the treble. All about the Shanghai.
He's had a dart already. He's not going to get one on this visit, so Michael Smith's turn to have a match dart. Should get one if he stays straight on the 20 segment minimum.
88.
But there's the pressure. Soutar's waiting.
80.
Excellent final dart from Alan Soutar. Michael Smith, 2 darts at double 10. And Michael Smith breathes a massive sigh of relief. Somehow the world #1 and the reigning world champion has found a way through at the end of what was an astonishing match to bring the curtain down on day 2 here at the German Darts Championship.